have you ever gone to watch Twitch videos, Sahaj?
Yeah.
There's a there are channels out there of like people that literally buy these microphones, these like super nice microphones that have stereo, basically stereo audio, right? Multiple microphones coming in, multiple microphones, but just how do you call that
Like
actually? Surround stereo.
the multiple array ones.
Yeah, like multiple. Yeah, microphone array. There you go.
Yeah.
So like a microphone array, but that it's all linked through this very nice bit of software, and
Mm-hmm.
they take their microphone and they it's
I
like
do you mean ASMR?
what is it called?
ASMR.
What does it stand for?
I don't know the full form.
Yeah, but so like they'll go to like one of the sides
I
and they'll
know.
whisper in it, and then they'll move over, and then they'll take all these like different
I
like,
know.
materials, and they'll make noises around there, and you just
Soaps and stuff.
thousands of people watching this person just make noises into a microphone, and I'm just like, what
Uh,
the heck has this world come to?
autonomous sensory meridian response.
Autonomous sensory meridian response. Yeah, well, they do that. People do that. All right, let's see. Share this over here. Like there's probably people out there that like the sound of my keyboard. I actually really enjoy the sound of a mechanical keyboard until my wife starts yelling at me. She's like, "Why can't you just get a normal keyboard like everyone else?" No good.
You were saying something?
I was just saying that like I enjoy the sound of my mechanical keyboard like a lot, but
Yeah.
my wife hates it. Carla hates it.
But you're in your stream though.
What?
But you're in your office.
Yeah, but she can hear it through the whole house.
Oh wow.
Morning, Robert.
Morning,
Sorry.
Guillermo. How you doing?
Good. I've been out for a while, but I'm back.
Nice. Glad to have you back, man.
Last week I was in Germany in a trade show.
Which one?
It's called Intergeo. It's from the geospatial industry. It's the biggest one in the world right now.
Very nice. Very nice. Indeed.
What happened meantime?
Oh, you're about to find out, aren't you? Lots. We had some good stuff to talk about today. We have a Lonardo Connect recap. We'll have a look into some of the cool things that are happening at TechCon next week, and then I will give an announcement with a big sigh. Can't join, unfortunately. I'm not home. It's all right, A13. Thank you for trying. Let's see, what do we got here?
Hey, Rob.
Hello, Timothy. How you doing, buddy?
I'm fine. How are you? How's the connect?
Good. Thank you. Thank you for asking. Trying to figure out how to. Oh, here we go. Participants. Oh, Sahaj got knocked out. Tithe is here. Okay, we're good. Connect was good. We're hoping maybe you'll join the next one. It will be closer to your area, that's for sure.
I wish.
One day.
Yeah.
Yes, and to answer your questions, I got married on August 2nd. And thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah. From Todd. Todd is asking that question. I appreciate that. So maybe I'll give you a little bit of a update on that. I never really talked about the wedding. So Haj and I had this idea to put wedding bells and stuff on the OpenHours website because I was gone for 2 weeks, right? But we didn't end up doing that. And then I never really kind of gave any updates on it. I haven't gotten the wedding photos back even yet. So, All right. It looks like it's time. Let's end this screen share here. Stop share. Excellent. So let's get started. Welcome everyone to 96 Boards, OpenHours, episode 165. My name is Robert Wolf, joined by a bunch of very awesome people in the community here on Zoom. If you're joining us on YouTube, feel free to check the link in the description below. You can shuffle on over to the Zoom call. You can stay in the YouTube call. It's up to you. We are monitoring both channels, YouTube channel and on the Zoom channel for questions. It's a very informal chat. If you have questions, if you want to comment anything, if just something pops into your head, you wanted to say it before you forget, feel free to speak out. It's fine. Thank you, Thomas, for the congratulations. I appreciate that from the YouTube channel. So yeah, today's episode is going to be a little different. We usually do this twice a year. It's the episode post-Connect. If you're not familiar with what Lonardo Connect is, you can go to connect.lonardo.org, but I'll just give you a brief little synopsis here. It's an event that our company hosts twice a year somewhere in the world, usually one time. It's every 6 months roughly. One time it's in Asia or Europe. The other half is in somewhere in the Americas, usually the US or Canada. I haven't yet experienced one in Mexico. I'm hoping one day we have one in Mexico. Haven't yet experienced one in South America. That would be awesome too. I like to look at these Connect events as not only a way for you to kind of connect, right, and build your relationships with people that you've been working with online for the entire last 6 months or possibly years. You get to meet them in person. You get to have these, let's just call them lightning syncs, where you just kind of brain dump, brainstorm, take your notes, set up your preparations for for the following 6 months and then move on. And that's usually how I use these events, meetings. And then on the bright side is that if you end up in a beautiful location, it's a bonus, right? And so that's kind of like the perk of having these things in different places around the world. Beautiful locations and amazing people to talk with. So we're going to talk about Lonardo Connect, recap of, I think it was now last week. And then we're going to talk about next week's event, which I will be in attendance, which is called ARM TechCon up in San Jose, Silicon Valley. And then at the very end, I will have a special announcement, which I'm pretty sure will shock the world. No, it's not that. It's a fun announcement. We'll talk about it in a bit. But yeah, so I would like to kind of like talk about the overall structure of Lonardo Connect, and then maybe Sahaj can highlight some of his fun parts. I'll highlight some of my fun parts. And then if anyone has any questions about the next Lonardo Connect or whether or not something happened at this particular Lonardo Connect, feel free to speak out. I see some people on the call who were there, like Carl Perry was there, Monty was there. So very, very cool to have them here. If they want to share any of their things, that would be nice as well. Todd, you have your hand up. Did you want to comment something?
Congrats on the wedding. When did it happen?
Thank you very much. Yeah. So my wedding was last month, August 2nd. Thank you very much, Todd. I really appreciate that. It went by so fast, and we were there for 2 weeks. We got married in Cabo San Lucas, 2 weeks. The wedding itself, 65 people, I think. Got a very nice venue. My mom and sister own a wedding planning company in Cabo San Lucas. So
okay, so now here's the next $1 billion Lonardo 96 board Connect project. Were there automated robots serving the champagne? I mean, that's got to be the next project on your.
We couldn't afford to bring them down to Mexico, and the venue didn't provide them. So yeah, we weren't able to do that, but we did have a photo booth, which was pretty cool. Never really experienced kind of this. Monty made one of these photo booths once, but like, I mean, you're talking about like this professional quality photo booth where you go in there and like they print out this like strip of photo. It was pretty cool. But yeah, no floating robots and robotic arm bartenders yet. Maybe my next wedding.
Or robotic. Since we had the beer one, you need to have the robotic beer server or robotic.
So someone needs to take Sahaj's robot arm design with the RB3 kit and then adopt it for a robotic arm. I think it was Carl who was saying something about.
Don't tempt me.
What did you say? Don't
tempt me. Yeah, no. There's a big robotic bartending competition that happens every year up at DNA Lounge in San Francisco. So.
Yeah, so maybe
we've got about 8 months to prepare.
8 months. Carl, maybe we should build something.
Maybe, I don't know. Gotta. Yeah, we'll see what we can come up with. Like, spend some time. Putting it all together. See what we can do.
You know what? Like, what do they call it when you try to build a solution for something that's not there, or a solution to a problem that doesn't exist? So
Steve Jobs.
It's called
Steve Jobs.
Wow, shots fired.
A waste of time.
A waste of time. There you go, Tim. Yeah, so like I just saw an Instagram story for this girl who was at a conference, and like vending machines. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like basically someone just took a vending machine and put champagne and beer in a vending machine, and you're just like, that's interesting, because then I could just get like pre-canned vodka orange and pre-canned vodka cranberry, and then just utilize a vending machine. Like, why do I need a bartender? And then you just sell tokens.
Yeah.
Why do I need a robot arm? Robot arm looks cooler.
Yes, I was about to say that seems a lot less fun than having a robot arm or having something that at least has a servo in it that moves back and forth and dispenses appropriately measured amounts of various kinds of alcohol and mixers.
Yes.
Figure something out.
I firmly agree. Yeah. Yeah, so maybe we'll look into this robot bartender contest. I saw the link. It looks exciting. Some people come up with some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah. So this guy says MHH A13 says MHH. I'm just doing a driving roboter. Oh, oh yeah. A13. If you know him from our Discord server or from YouTube, he's building a pretty cool project. Hopefully, we'll be able to showcase that on OpenHours sometime soon. But yeah, he's building like a little remote control car. Anyways, okay. So looking at Lonardo Connect, I just want to give the structure of this real quick. And I know I've talked about it a lot of times. I'll be brief on this part, and then I want to talk about some of the highlights. Lonardo Connect is a 5-day event, and every morning it starts out with breakfast and then 2 keynotes, right? So there's an hour long of keynotes. I should say a welcoming ceremony every morning for about 15 minutes, and then an hour of keynotes. Now, for this particular Connect, we had some very cool keynotes. Sometimes you get like a mixed bag of all these different, let's say, like verticals that you can look at, like AI, automotive, blah 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 blah, HPC. But this time there seemed to be a theme, and I noticed that there was a lot of focus on HPC. So I mean, if you saw like HPC on Friday keynote, HPC on I think it was the Monday or the Wednesday keynote. Basically, it was just kind of like you saw it trickled kind of all over the place. And which is very interesting to see, not only just because it's HPC on ARM, but HPC, the future of AI and all this kind of things tying together on through high performance computing, right? So I want to kind of share my screen real quick and go through the keynote speakers. And then real quick, we'll kind of chime back in and look back at some of the sessions here. But so let's see real quick. So share my screen. Here we go. So if you scroll down, you'll see some of the speakers here. How do I do this? Okay. So first keynote was our CEO, Lonardo CEO Li Gong. Next keynote was from Dipesh Patel. He is from the IoT Services Group at ARM. So challenges in scaling or solutions to scale IoT. As you know, like we're looking at 1 trillion devices sometime in the next 5-10 years, securing the billions of devices around us. This is from Microsoft. And you can see right here, like there's some pretty reputable people here that are speaking. AI on ARM flagship supercomputers. The Upstream Bubble by Ryan Huntsman. This was very special keynote because, as you know, San Diego, Qualcomm has a big presence here. So having a representative from Qualcomm speak is a pretty big deal. ARM and HPC. There you go. The HPC theme just kind of literally shining out right there. This was an interesting one. They talked about a whole bunch of really cool stuff there. And all these things should be available to watch, I think, by now. Let's see this one right here. So big data on ARM in practice with Thunder X, and then 10 years of automated evolution in the Linux kernel. There was one more keynote here. I think it was a panel keynote with Elsie, and they had a panel also talking about HPC. So yeah.
Yeah, that was on the last day.
Did you get to see that one? I was busy in the demo room.
I did, yeah. It was interesting. We actually had a lot of conversations come out of that panel because it was more like, what can HPC do for you? And I was like, yes. How can we work together with HPC? Because like coming from a hosting background, the problems that I'm solving and the problems that HPC are solving are very similar. And one of the things that Andrew talked about in his keynote the day before was that they had no way of actually looking at the power utilization information for individual nodes. Like they could see the power coming into the entire building because they have that, but like keeping track of power, temperature, all that fun stuff of the individual nodes, there was nothing that could scale to the size that they were dealing with. And they're like, so we had to go whip something together because we couldn't find anything like this. And I was like, yeah, we deal with that all the time. We should work together and make sure that there is an open source solution that can scale to thousands of nodes that makes this possible rather than, everyone reinventing the wheel, because it's not particularly secret, despite some large cloud companies thinking it is.
To remain nameless. All right, so let's see. No, thank you for sharing that. I'm trying to find if it's on the list here for people to watch, but I don't see it. I'd probably have to poke around a little more. I think it's in the 500s, 500 keynote here. Oh no, 10 years automated evolution of Linux kernel. It doesn't look like they have it here, which is very weird because I picture that would have been an interesting one to have recorded. Cool. So yeah, so structure-wise, you have the keynotes, you have a bunch of tracks of sessions that are going on after the keynotes, and then you have hack rooms. So Carl, who was just speaking, had a keynote with David T from MiniNodes. Sahaj, who's on the call, had a session. Mani had a session. I usually have a session. Wait, I think I did have a session actually. I had a session on Wednesday for a bunch of students, which was kind of somewhat like a panel. But I mean, in essence, what you're trying to do while you're at this conference is you're trying to, if you're not giving a session, either connect and meet and, you know, brainstorm and plan out with as many people as possible, and or attend and learn as much as possible. And having all these great minds putting together these sessions makes it very easy for you to just kind of pop your head into a room, pop your head into a door, sit down into one of these sessions and go over some of these really cool topics. I only wish that, you know, one day I'll be able to attend an event like this and actually have time to go into a session. That's just not I'm not able to, fortunately.
Robert, were there any DOE folks there? I mean, that's where all the big top 10 of the top 500 computers are. HPC.
Yeah, several.
I mean, right, Urbanic, any of the Lanel, Oak Ridge, LBL, LLNL, any of the folks from any of the DOE labs?
So, and Andrew, the gentleman I mentioned earlier, he actually gave a keynote on Thursday. He's from Sandia. And there were other folks from Lawrence Livermore. There were some folks from SDSC. So yeah, there were a fair number of folks in attendance. Sandia currently has the biggest, Lonardo Connect obviously being ARM focused. Sandia has the biggest, the most interesting ARM HPC story at the moment with their Astra computer. That's actually going to start working on DOE workloads in a couple of months. I don't think anybody else has anything nearly as large as what Sandia currently has. So that's why there was a limited showing from the other labs.
Yeah, so there you go. I actually opened the session right here. You can see what the session abstract was about. And here's Andrew, the speaker. This is the one that Carl's talking about right now.
Okay, yeah, I saw that. There was here we go. There's some stuff starting at Lanel right now. So I'll pull that right now.
Yeah, so I mean, if it's, I want to go as far to say as like, you know, if it's kernel space, if it's ARM, and for the most part, if it's open source, you're going to find it here. That's kind of what I would go as far as to say. It's not a huge conference, so you know I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of stuff missing from this with regards to like how you'll see a big conference compared to this one. This is a tight-knit group, usually around 400 people, and then everyone's kind of consuming their own things, right? So it's like you're giving a session, but you're also wanting to attend as many sessions as possible. As well, so yeah, it's definitely worth it. So yeah, I don't know, Sahaj, did you want to add anything to this?
Yeah, the session was nice. The most I kind of worked on throughout Connect was the robotic arm and to get it working on Qualcomm's robotics mezzanine. I think I can show that. I have it nearby. So if people just want to have a quick look at it, it's a decent little piece of kit. So yeah, and the other thing with with Connect is that you get a bunch of hardware to take back home. And this time I got again a bunch of 96 boards related hardware. Again, the motor control mezzanine being one of them. This has a PWM controller, STM32 microcontroller, and FPGA, and I think there's one more thing there. So yeah, a bunch of stuff. And there's the arm. That's the exact arm that was being displayed on Friday.
So I was lucky enough to get to take this home with me. I still don't know if I'm going to send it to anyone, Sahaj. I think I might just keep it I'm not going to plug it in or anything. It's just going to be like a nice, fancy, cool looking paperweight. So I have this stack of papers that keeps blowing away from the fan right here. I'm just going to, it'd be nice.
Robert, you know why he designed that? It's actually a sophisticated back scratcher, as in if you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours.
It would work. It would work. No, this is the arm. Very well done by Sahaj. I'm just kidding about making it a paperweight. This is the board that he was using right here. What he was just showing up there. But final product, you can follow his entire blog series. That's one of the cool parts about this, is you can follow his entire blog series. You can rebuild this yourself. The parts were sourced globally to make sure that they are available. All the code is
provided. What is most of the programming language?
Python.
Most of the main architecture?
It's all Python.
Is it?
All Python.
All Python. OpenCV for
it is really okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, to boot, like, you know, what we're hoping that this project builds for or creates is a foundation for people to build more stuff on top of it. So, you know, we're providing you this bill of materials, a really cool way to get your foot in the door, and then we want to see what other people come up with on top of this, or expand on it, right? This is also.
Is there any? Is there a hand or a clasper or thing that can grasp things? Okay.
Yeah.
So it can be used to go to the ATM and extract Robert's billions in Bitcoins, right?
If I had billions in Bitcoin, I'd be on an island right now, okay, that I own, and I would not be. I would probably still be streaming, but not like this. I'd be streaming like, you know, other things. All right. So this arm is very cool. Definitely go check it out. We'll try to share some more resources on this arm. But I guess there was one more thing. Oh yeah, we're working on a ROS wrapper right now so that it can be showcased at the ROSCon in Macau at the end of October. So if you are in the area in Macau and you want to go to ROSCon, you might find this on a Qualcomm booth or, you know, some other partner's booth.
Yep. So I think there were other boards announced as well. I have another one of them. This was already announced in CNX software the day it launched. The RK2399 SOM board. I think we are allowed to show that. So here it is. So it's the same SOM form factor as a previous one that was announced during the Bangkok Connect. So the RK2399 SOM removes from the baseboard, and yeah, neat little kit.
Yeah. So they definitely announced that. I think also our marketing team released a nice little blog or announcement release on that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, looking at Lonardo Connect. I personally always enjoy those events. The one thing I will say is I'm usually too busy, which is unfortunate, but just kind of part of what's going on. We have some wind or some echo. I don't know.
I think it's Todd's mic.
Yeah, Todd, you might want to mute.
Todd, I'm sorry, buddy. I'm going to mute you real quick if you want. Unless you want to say something. Oh, okay. Yeah. So any other people want to comment on ARM TechCon? I mean, sorry, on ARM TechCon, on Lonardo Connect. Did you have any highlights that you want to share? I'll share one highlight as well, but did anyone else want to comment on Lonardo Connect? You have Sahaj, Mani, and Carl here. You guys are all pretty much the only people that went.
Hey, I'm here.
Oh, David's here. Oh, David's here. And David win as well.
Yeah. I'll chime in real quick and just say, it's amazing to me just how incredibly talented all of those guys and girls really are. I am not, at anywhere near the level of these people. I can copy and paste some code from Stack Overflow, but I mean, these guys and girls are just so talented. And you just sit there and you just learn a ton. Like the actual knowledge transfer that you get is invaluable.
I like that you say that, because so for instance, like copy paste code off Stack Overflow, right? I mean, those are for problems that already have existed and been solved. I mean, like what you're mentioning right now makes total sense, because the people that are at Lonardo Connect, they're actually, you can't Google the stuff that they're fixing.
No, you can't. It's pure engineering, all bleeding edge, brand new, solving problems that no one has encountered yet. It's just totally mind blowing to sit there and listen to these people speak.
I think we've gotten really good at the bleeding edge too, because I didn't see anyone with like Band-Aids on their fingers this year. So that's an improvement.
Is this the bleeding edge? Is that what, I don't know. Is it an inside joke?
Well, the whole point of the bleeding edge is that, you're just past the cutting edge, which means you probably cut yourself.
Oh, yeah. Nice. So, I mean, yeah, I definitely resonate with what David just said. I mean, I remember back when I was in college, I always used this, well, after I finished college, I always used to say that being in college taught me very well how to be resourceful, not be scared of the things I need to solve, be a good Googler, et cetera, et cetera. But I mean, hats off to the folks that are on the edge solving all these problems.
A couple highlights for me for it was, I'm trying to remember what day it was. I want to say it was Thursday. There was a great talk, the topic of which was advanced Python stuff, specifically around advanced testing in Python. That was the name of the session. And it was super useful. If you are at all interested in Python testing frameworks, how to put all that stuff together, how to deal with CI pipelines of making sure like the code that you're putting in meets the same style guides as what the rest of the community is using and stuff like that. Absolutely awesome talk, because the guy who ran it from Red Hat spent a good amount of time going, there are 47 tools that solve this problem. You only want to look at these 2. I was like, oh, that's actually really useful. So that was awesome. And then in a very different direction, I went to a talk on Friday that was led by a gentleman from Japan talking about open source firmware and open source bootloaders and how to open that entire ecosystem. And there was a great discussion afterwards by a bunch of us trying to figure out how we can deal with some of those things and how we can look at them from a more holistic perspective. A lot of people are like, yeah, we need a blob-free everything. And then those of us who actually do a little more work deeper down at the hardware go, that would be awesome, except we legally can't do that. So it's just a matter of trying to figure out what's the right way to put all of that stuff together. It was an interesting talk that caused several of us to go, what? Like 4 or 5 times, but the discussion that came out after it was extraordinarily useful, and I think opened up a couple people's eyes into how complex the ecosystem is of trying to get hardware working.
I think it's very important that, people look at, it's very nice always to look at the pipe dream, right? Or whatever it is that individual's pipe dream is. But it's also very important to be feasible. And, you have to look at what's feasible within within your resource pool, within what you're capable of, within what humanity is capable of. It's like, yeah, I'd like to stop time, but that's not feasible. I'd like to do this, but that's not feasible. So like, there's just a bunch of things that those are extremes, but that, it's important to have some people in that group that can pull you back to earth and say, okay, that's a nice idea, but let's focus on what we're capable of achieving.
Exactly. And, nothing against having ambitious dreams. It's just a more of, there's a lot more legalities and licensing that happens in the hardware world than most people realize. People sit there and tend, like, Sahaj and I have this conversation at least once a month of like, oh, why is this PCI Express implementation so terrible? Well, because it was cheap. And then we have to go figure out, okay, how are we going to fix that? And how are we going to convince people to stop buying the cheapest PCI Express IP and use stuff that can actually support a GPU? Things like that.
What you want to tell us what you're laughing at, Sahaj?
Yeah, no, it's a conversation we've had one too many times,
Yeah.
and it's mostly ended up in, well, I mean, if things need to be cost effective, then you need to cut down somewhere, and it's sadly the PCI IP gets cut down way too hard. So yeah.
Memory controllers are another one that are a big deal.
Yeah.
How much money are you really saving though? I mean, like if you're talking about a consumer product, okay, I would understand, but you're talking about, in most cases, this is a developer product, right? Like,
yep.
So
let me give you some numbers, and I can't give you names behind the numbers, but an inexpensive memory controller to license that costs somewhere in the neighborhood of $5 to $8 million.
Inexpensive.
Inexpensive.
Okay.
The expensive ones are in the $30 to $50 million.
Okay, so you're talking about a 6x.
Yes.
Okay.
And there's also increases on the per chip royalties on top of that. That's just to get access to the IP. That doesn't include the royalties that you have to pay for every chip that you manufacture as well.
And then you have to split that cost across all of your devices.
Yes.
So it helps if you have, it helps if you're using that particular part, or it helps if you're using it in multiple products across your company, rather than just that one product.
Right. If you buy one memory controller IP block and you use that in all of your products, that's going to be significantly more cost effective for you. But that's why you run into limitations, and you see this all the time, of like a bunch of the 96 boards parts are limited to 2 or 4 gig of RAM. You can't add more, and that's a limitation of the memory controller. It's not because, and mainly because like there's not enough address pins or things like that, which everybody's like, oh, it's a 64-bit platform, you should be able to put 4 terabytes of memory on it. It's like, yes, if you spent $60 million on a completely 64-bit memory controller, but most people don't.
I like how you just blurt out, like, yeah, if you spend $60 million on it, yeah. No, I get you.
It's a whole different ballgame that a lot of people don't necessarily have insight into, and that's not a bad thing. Like, it's nice that we've gotten to the point in the computer world where people can just sit there and go, yeah, I'm going to go take these 3 chips and put them together and make a product out of it. That's awesome. But then when people start complaining about, actually, this is really hard, and I really wish all of this was open source, it's like, cool. There's a lot of work to get there.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, I guess if they have a few tens of millions sitting around, I don't know. I guess in general, I guess the either the IP has to come down or the companies need to get bigger. I don't know what the solution is to that. I don't even know why I'm thinking about it, but
it's all right. This is what I think about it. This is what I spend a lot of time thinking about, but that's okay. We can talk about it some other time. We don't need to waste time here talking about it.
All right. So then
are people saying the days of Hewlett Packard and Apple Computer in your garage are kind of dead?
And it feels like that at the moment. Like, I went and talked to a company to try and build a SoC, an actual system on chip, to see if we could solve a problem for work. And they were like, absolutely, we can do that. And like 6 months later, they came back and they're like, okay, we think we've got the IP licensing worked out. It's going to be about $9 million up front. And then you have to buy 36,000 copies of the chip at $14 a piece. And we were like, oh, that's it's a bit more than we were expecting. And this was a relatively simple design. If you're trying to put together, you know, a ARM system that's using like Cortex A76 cores, that gets increasingly more expensive because there's so much more IP that you have to license in order to make all that stuff work and have it work well with Linux. And even then, you have to spend a lot of money on simulation to make sure that it's gonna work before you actually spend the millions of dollars to actually go have it fabbed by one of the fab companies like Global Foundries or TSMC or Samsung Foundries. So yeah, it's hard. It's real hard right now with all of this push towards integration down into a SoC or a SOM rather than we have a processor over here, you have a memory controller that's a separate chip, you have an interrupt controller that's a separate chip. Like it's a very different world than it was in the 80s.
Does anyone want to tell the VCs and politicians that they're all worried within 10 years, 100% of every single job will be replaced by AI, machine learning, and robots? Has some roadblocks before they get there?
Okay, wait. So you said within 10 years? This is
there's a lot of folks saying that 10 years is when we're going to start having the robo-apocalypse.
VC speak on it. So I don't know. I mean, there's many people saying that same thing, and it's pure, exaggeration on all fronts, it seems.
So there's multiple things that I've heard, right? Like I think Andrew Gaines, is he says he's marketing director. There was this physicist, I think, a physicist who focused on technological evolution. I can't remember his exact name. But basically he went back and he studied human evolution, and then he correlated it directly to technological evolution, right? And he said, okay, well, here's the human evolution curve. It's just this freaking really slow moving line, right? And then technological evolution is this exponential like graph, okay? And what he did is he put these two charts on top of each other, and he said, okay, based on all my studies throughout all of, our history of mankind and since technology started existing, we're seeing that the two lines cross in the year 2030, which is right about 10 years from now. And so at 2030, his theory is this. His theory is that if humans do not integrate technology into themselves, then they will no longer be able to control the technology that they once created. Thus, if you think about it in this way, we made robots that make the robots or the parts of the robots that build the cars that we use. So like, how many lines of robots before we actually reach the human, right? So now we have human, the robot makes the robot makes the part is used to then feed the robots that then build the car, right? So at some point, like, where's the human interaction come into play? So he says like 10 years from now in 2030, when these things collide, is that for us to even control the robots that we're creating, we need to be part robot. Otherwise they will start to overcome us. But then you take like something like what was it? David Brown, who came on the show, I think like several months ago now, he was quoting someone. I wish I had the names of these quotes. I got to start writing these down, but he was quoting someone that said, for us to talk about AI right now, it's the equivalent of cavemen talking about, or cave people talking about nuclear energy. So like that's how far he thinks we are away from true AI, like AI, destructive AI to us.
Yeah, and I would agree with that, because at the moment, everything that we're calling AI is a bunch of linear algebra and matrix multiplication. And there's the awesome XKCD comic where it's like, what's this? Oh, it's my AI. And it's a funnel going into a giant pile of stuff and some data coming out of the other side. And he's like, how do you know it's working? He's like, well, if the numbers look wrong, just mix up the differential equations until the numbers look right when they come out the other side. It'll be fine.
I was talking with my boss, Yang, director of 96 boards. We were at team dinner in BKK. And I was like, just talking about AI in general, how, you know, I feel the brain kind of works, right? Like you're born. We're going to tangent off here for a second. How long do we have? Just for a second. And I'd like to hear other people's views on this. But so yeah, you're born and you're born with kind of like just the innate instinct that a human has, right? But as you get older, you start building experiences, pathways in your brain that then connect these experiences that make these experiences into memories. And then these memories are the things that you act on for your life, right? It's like, if I put my hand over fire, ouch, fire hurts, don't put hand over fire, right? That right there to me can be boiled down to a bunch of zeros and ones, essentially treating each neuron as almost like a transistor, right? Like as the path goes through, the transistors light up, you pass the current through, et cetera, et cetera. And so I was proposing this to my boss, Yang. I said, so I mean, essentially it's like every choice I make is a 0 or a 1 based on other zeros and ones that I've created in my past. He's like, no, that's not the case. You have these cloud probabilities that your brain just pumps through like in an instant, where you're calculating percentages and chances like nonstop. And I haven't dived enough into, you know, the theoretical side of AI. Let's not talk about just like, you know, the computational side, like the theoretical side of like the mathematics and everything that goes on in your brain. It's much more intense than just zeros and ones. But, you know, it'd be really interesting to have Yang on here talk. Saj, you should think about that, getting Yang on here to talk about that. That would be a really cool episode.
It's just really hard to get him on OpenHours.
You can do it.
Okay.
Either way, I mean, the point is that for me, I'm trying to explain to myself that, you know, logically, I make decisions based on experiences. This experience was good, bad, medium, whatever. And then I take my chance on a future experience based on that. Like, okay, I went on this roller coaster 5 years ago. I didn't die. I didn't get hurt. I had fun. 001, go on roller coaster again. That's it, right? What's it? But in my head, I guess I'm calculating. I didn't die, but I could have. I didn't get hurt, but I could have by this much percentage. I don't know. There's a whole bunch of other shit going on there. Either way, to me, that's very interesting, and I want to read more and study more about this theoretical side of AI, the brain part that, you know, we're trying to mimic in robots, right? Small tangent. Anyone else want to add to that before we move on to the next topic? Okay. So on TechCon. Oh, so, yeah, on TechCon. All right. I'm going to share my screen here real quick because I want to go through, have this open right here. I'm going to go through the keynotes. I'm going to go through the agenda real quick, and I'm going to talk about some of the people that will be on the floor, the Expo Hall. So share screen, screen one. Let's make this big. All right, keynotes. All right, so CEO of ARM. It seems pretty standard. You know, most of these events, usually if they're hosted by someone, as the CEO speak at the opening. Then we have some, looks like there's several keynotes here. Most of these people seem to be from ARM. So they're reaching out to a few people from outside. Here's a Facebook engineer that's going to talk about, they're not giving really the topics like on the front. So we have ARM, Facebook, architect Cruise Automation, renowned white hat hacker, another ARM, Mapbox, ARM, and IoT cloud services. So are there any keynotes that you're looking forward to seeing, Carl? I know you'll be there. Carl and David will both be there.
Yeah, we're both gonna be there. We're giving a talk on Wednesday.
Wednesday at 9.
Yeah. So just after keynotes. Yeah, I'm probably going to go to the keynotes. I'm curious to see what Mapbox is doing. I'm curious to see what Facebook is doing. Just because they have a lot of Mapbox is always doing interesting things. And Facebook has enough oomph behind them that they can basically design their own hardware. So it'll be interesting to see what they're up to. But those are probably the ones that I'm looking forward to the most. The rest, yeah, we'll find out once we see them.
Yeah, so we're here with his name's Dr. I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Rabbi. AR and VR products. Now, this is really cool because Facebook acquired Oculus a while back. Zuckerberg must have just saw the immense potential with VR. If you think about it, like what I really love to see, what I would really love to see in the future, in my living future, is like a full immersion VR, right? Like right now we have this headset. That's pretty much it. People are starting to put out these like haptic sensors where you can wear like a vest and you can feel the sound. But like, if you look at, if anyone's read the book Ready Player One, like you can put on this full haptic suit. You know what I'm talking about?
You should totally go to the Void. It's not that far away from where you are. There's one at Disney in Anaheim. I'm told it's freaking amazing.
Is it what you say VR? It's called the Void?
It's called the Void. So there's several of them. There's one I think there's one in Hollywood. I know there's one at whatever they call downtown Disney now, at Disney Land. You don't actually have to have a admission to Disney to go into it. It's a separate thing. They have 4 or 5 different experiences, and yeah, you wind up putting on a vest that has haptic and environmental feedback. You still have the headset. It's got reasonable controllers. They've got like 4 different scenarios. The Star Wars one is supposed to be the most amazing because you wind up battling a bunch of stormtroopers, and there's like a lava flow between you, and the vest you're wearing heats up as you get closer to the lava flow so that you can feel it. Like everyone I have talked to who has been to it says it's absolutely amazing. I have not had a chance to go to one yet. And the unfortunate part for me is their development team is here in Austin.
Yeah, they're in Austin. They don't have anything in Austin.
They don't have anything in Austin. Like the closest one is Las Vegas. It's really entertaining to me, but hopefully they will fix that soon.
They must have some sort of able to test it over there.
One would hope. I haven't found it yet.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. So that being said, this is really cool. This is the next step. So step 1 is what we're seeing: consumer products, Oculus, the Vive. You put this headset on. Right now, you're tangled up to this huge thing of wires that goes to your computer. Step 2 might be finding a way to put all of this stuff into your headset, increasing the storage. You might have to wear a backpack, blah, blah, blah. Step 3 is what Carl, you just said. Now you put on this haptic suit. You still have to wear a visor or something. You still have to wear all these other gadgets. Step 4, though, full immersion, is what I'm referring to as a device that pretty much taps into your brain. And you pretty much you put on this helmet or a device that taps in your brain, you lay down and you're just in matrix mode. It's almost like lucid dreaming, but induced lucid dreaming, right? But also injected. You're injected with environments in an induced lucid dream type state. That's the kind of full immersion that I'm looking for.
Yeah, I just worry about Facebook being in control of that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if we're talking about like all this stuff happening in the next 10 years, right? I mean, exponentially, why not? I guess Elon Musk is working on ways to download and upload information into your brain. There's all sorts of stuff going on. Here is like kind of a picture of what Black Mirror portrays this as. It's just this little device that you put onto your temple. It seems they use this little device in quite a bit of their episodes. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's this little device that you put onto your temple, and it essentially just kind of sinks you into some full immersion. And there's like animes like what is it called? Sword Art Online, stuff like that. Anyways, that's the cool stuff that I'm looking forward to. Back to the keynotes here. AR, another thing. Like, I mean, there's so much AR opportunity out there, and whatever company really capitalizes on these AR, VR products, like you're talking about tackling so many verticals. Like even if you just look at one, old people, right? Or elderly people, you want to improve their quality of life. Like maybe the elderly people right now, like they don't understand technology as much and they really don't care. They're fine just sitting down. I know my grandpa just loves sitting down and watching the news, but we're going to hit the generation like our generation, 30s, 40s right now. grew up 50s, grew up with technology. When we hit our 60s, 70s, and 80s, we're going to be totally fine with plugging into a VR set. Like, we're going to be like, yeah, show me VR. Like, I don't care. I want to try it out. So the quality of life that you can give to someone that is elderly 10, 20, 30 years from now, that will be fully accepted of it as well. You're talking about like just immense improvements in quality of life. Like, I mean, you could be 80 years old and riding roller coasters. I mean, why the heck not? So
just make sure the opioid companies aren't funding the research, though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you have to take a sleeping pill first in order to get that going. And then the other one here that you were saying, Mapbox. Yeah, so I mean, you know, there's definitely going to be some good talks here.
For those who don't know who Mapbox is, you've actually seen their stuff all the time. They're one of the commercial entities behind OpenStreetMap, and so a lot of the maps that you see in news programs and various other odds and ends, they have a scheme where they can make that technology available and licensing it for commercial use and integrating it with other data sets. There's a lot of really awesome stuff that they work on. So it's always cool to see what they're up to.
Yeah, that's great. I wonder how many fellows ARM has. Fellow is usually a pretty prestigious role in a company. I know, like companies like Nissan, I think Nissan only has like 2 fellows in the entire company. It's like several tens of thousands. So fellows pretty prestigious. This will be interesting. But yeah, so lots of good keynotes. Move on to this when we're running out of time. Schedules. Let's try to find your talk real quick. What'd you say? It was on Wednesday?
Wednesday, 9 o'clock.
So let's scroll down here. Let's just see what kind of cool stuff. Visions for the future of AI. Cloud-based IoT SOC design, 5G technology. Keep scrolling. Aircraft, AI and aircrafts. Android in the cloud. This website's being a little finicky. Okay, I don't think we'll get to yours if we go this slow. But it is what you were saying. It is somewhat similar to the talk that you gave at Connect, right?
Yeah, similar. We added some more stuff to it. So for those of you who can't attend TechCon, check out our video that's up on the 96 board YouTube.
Did you tone down slide 22?
We have worked on toning down slide 22. Yes, so the joke there for people who don't know is we have to submit slides for TechCon 3 months in advance. And then they have this whole review process, and then they tell us whether or not they like the slides. And they said, we don't like the tone of slide 22. So I added about 10 more slides the other day, and we changed some of the wording on slide 22, and hopefully they're happy now.
Yeah, I submitted it yesterday, so we'll see what the feedback is.
Fill us on slide 22.
We're being critical of some ARM technologies because they didn't work.
Gotcha.
Struggling with literally this very second.
I'm gonna go with human error.
Yeah, you know what? It actually really it needs Carl's expertise.
Yeah, so I'm trying to. I remember because your talk touches basically everything. Like, I think in the title of your talk it says infrastructure, cloud, edge, and IoT, end to end, all on ARM.
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, the title itself is very enticing. Very it's a very enticing talk. I'm hoping you guys get a lot of people signed up. I'm sure you'll get a lot of people signed up because, I mean, when I saw the title of it, I was like, wow, I wish I could have seen it at Connect.
It's okay. You can. It's on YouTube.
I'll watch it. Cool. So, yeah, as you can see, like, I'm still scrolling their sessions. If I go up to the top here, I mean, it says out of 150 something sessions, 149 sessions. Clearly, there are a lot of things to go see there. And
it's only a 3-day conference.
And it's only a 3-day conference. So you're talking 50 a day. These are probably half hour to 1 hour long sessions. Like, this is almost an hour long session. You can see.
So with with overlap, I mean, you actually have to pick and choose
Yeah.
what it is that you want to attend.
Yeah, I think there's like 5 tracks.
Yeah, oh my God, it's so glitchy. I'm like, okay, there. Yeah, so there's 6 tracks. So
Okay.
and all in different topics, you have AI, automotive, et cetera, et cetera. You can read that there. But if you want to find out more, you can go to armtechcon.com to read more about these sessions. The last thing I want to cover is just this Expo Hall to kind of give you an idea of the companies that'll be in attendance. When I went to TechCon last year, it's huge. I mean, it's a massive conference center. I would say like on par with like the Anaheim Convention Center. It's big.
Yeah, the San Jose Convention Center is not small. And one thing that I would like to point out for anyone who's going to be in the Bay Area next week, access to the Expo, getting an Expo pass is free. So you can go to armtechcon.com and get a free Expo pass. And like most conferences, usually the hallway track is better than some of the other tracks. So feel free to come by and track any of us down if you want to talk.
That's really good to note, actually. I mean, sometimes people just want to go check out the companies that are there, learn more about what's happening in the world, in the tech world, in the ARM world, and don't really care much about the sessions. I mean, it's up to you. But yeah, totally free. I didn't know that. But yeah, so here's some of the companies. I mean, you see like some noticeable ones here. Ampere, ARM, of course, will have a infrastructure automotive zone, AWS, going down the line of Docker. I mean, there's Cadence. There's a lot of big ones there, and then there's also some fun ones like BrainChip. So yeah, I mean, let's kind of just scroll down here. New AE technology. There's a sticker here that I got from these guys last year. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Which made me laugh because all the whole crypto buzzword, right? But as in crypto means cryptography, not cryptocurrency. So it's kind of funny to see. And then they gave me this little swag. It was literally a block, like a cement block on a chain. That was the swag they were handing out. They weren't giving out shirts or anything. They were giving out these stickers and then a little block on a chain.
They were doing that at DEF CON this year too. I thought that was fantastic.
Yes, it's awesome. I still have it somewhere. I got to find it. I think I put it on my keychain. So yeah, it's like, hey, look what I got. You know what this is?
I remember when you brought it back to our pod last year. I was like, what is that thing?
Oh yeah, that's true.
It's a cinder block on a chain. It's a blockchain. I was like,
yeah. Basically, I think that they're just poking fun at literally, what a blockchain is. They're just like, yeah, this is pretty much what a blockchain is. Riscure was at Lonardo Connect this year, so it'll be cool to see them again. Renaissance, yeah, big companies. ST Micro, Swift, Thundersoft. Oh, Thundersoft, yeah, they had a big presence last year as well. VMware and Xilinx. Cool. So yeah, that's Lonardo Connect and ARM TechCon. Definitely suggest checking it out. I will try to do my best. I'm Xing all this stuff out. I'll try to do my best to. How do I exit? There we go. I'll try to do my best to maybe stream some stuff from my Instagram account. If you're not following me on Instagram, I changed it. It's @block.chained. It's not SD Robert W anymore. So yeah, you could find me there. I'll be trying to stream some stuff during the event, as well as maybe we'll do a open hours from ARM TechCon on the floor, maybe interview some people. And that being said, the announcement of the week. So next week will most likely, not guaranteed, but next week will most likely be my last open hours, because I will be leaving 96 boards. I'll be leaving 96 boards for ARM, and it's going to be a fun transition. I fully intend to continue evangelizing the 96 boards ecosystem, And I look forward to working with many of the people here on this call right now to figure out new and exciting ways to continue doing things like this. So I don't want to be done with this live stream podcast style discussion sessions. As soon as I have more news about this, I will of course let you know. I hope to, so a regular arm spot on 96 boards. Yeah. So yeah, we don't know what's going to happen yet. In fact, I can't give you any definitive answers. However, I will say that no matter what happens, I will continue to stream. So whether it be with ARM or in collaboration with OpenHours or anything that I am able to do, I want to continue streaming, and I want to continue streaming regularly. So I've started a new community channel on Discord. I want to start building this out in collaboration with 96 boards to essentially still offer anything that I was so excited. There's like 15 people on the call today, and I'm thinking like, well, dang, this is the best turnout that we've had in like maybe a month or two. And here it is, one of my last actual sessions as the official host. I don't know, Sahaj, do you want to say anything about what might happen?
Yeah, so I mean, we are still brainstorming on this, whether what direction OpenHours goes, or if you want to split this into two different streams, one hosted by me and one hosted by Robert. Either way, we'll get this content out regularly, and hopefully you'll get more out of this and not less.
Yeah. The well said on that one. The idea here is we don't want to when this transition happens, we don't want to cannibalize each other. We want to collaborate and work together on each other. So hopefully, maybe if anything, we find complementary time slots where people who really enjoy the traditional open hours and whatever Sahaj and the 96 boards team choose to migrate to. Hopefully this becomes something that you still like to evangelize. And then as well as providing another time slot or something else somewhere else that talks about similar but different things with similar and possibly other people, right? So we'll just work it out. I will have more information, and then I'm hoping that Sahaj will allow once this transition does happen. I'm hoping he'll allow at least us to come on here and promote and let everyone know what happened to me.
Yeah.
Because I want to.
Is it the same company or a different company, Robert? In other words, Lonardo for both positions?
No, I'll be moving to ARM. Yeah, so I will actually be working at ARM. And from what I understand, it's a very similar role. So we'll find out more in the coming weeks. I'll find out more in the coming weeks. Who bought?
Now, the question is, ARM, where are they located? Same with San Diego or different?
Head office is in Cambridge. They have an office in San Diego. They have one in San Jose. They have one in Austin. I believe they have several more around the world. But yeah, their head office is in the UK in Cambridge, right next to Lonardo, in fact. To answer Tayeth, your question, who bought ARM last? It was SoftBank. If that was the question, yeah. So SoftBank purchased ARM for a whopping $30 some odd billion. Pretty large acquisition. I'm very excited, and I really hope that I'm positive that it's the right move. I really hope that it's the right move to continue this kind of stuff. I mean, I've said it a million times. I'm like, I'm like, I get a little emotional about the open hours thing because this was like my baby, right? Like I could go back to the first day of open hours, and I remember with Chauvin, we literally like it was just me and him and a few people from Lonardo. We literally just staged the questions. We had no idea what was going to happen. I gave him like 10 questions to ask me, and just asked them, and then next
What
thing,
day and what year was that? Your first one?
oh gosh, I'd have to trace it back, but it was in 2016. Like probably April 2016. So yeah, maybe I'll write a farewell blog, a personal farewell blog for myself. Open hours is not, as far as I know, this will be up to the 96 board scene, but as far as I know, open hours is not going anywhere. But that's not up to me.
What about the association with Coursera? Because that's how I even found out about you. So who's going to be maintaining all that? Is that still going on, or is that kind of coming to an end?
I am still associated. Well, I guess officially I'm not associated with Coursera, but I still help the professors out kind of like as a collaborative effort. So the professors still allow me to have admin access to Coursera. However, the extent of my involvement is only to provide students with a little bit of a supplemental material. So I stopped being the person who edits the videos, who adds more assessments. I simply provide them with sometimes a weekly email for the course to let them know about what we're doing here on open hours, or to provide them with any sort of other supplemental materials that they may need for their development. So yeah. And if you are interested, the new I'll share this in here. So the new Discord link that I'll be primarily working under, that's the new Discord server. I'll be co-modding this with Carl and possibly a couple other communities. Not sure exactly who yet, but we're looking for other ARM communities who are interested in co-modding this channel to grow it and make it bigger. We'll be adding some fun little gamifying bots, possibly doing some giveaways and stuff like that. Yeah. So yeah, and I gotta I'm sorry, Tyeth, I gotta say this, but yeah, so I guess I'm pronouncing Cambridge wrong. It's Cambridge. I think Cambridge is in the States, and then Cambridge is in UK. But yeah, so sorry for the mispronunciation there. Lonardo and ARM are located, their head offices are located in Cambridge. I've probably been saying it wrong all the time. Like I say Sahaj wrong and Mani wrong too.
The Cambridge, it is pronounced Cambridge in both the UK and in the suburb of Boston, Massachusetts. So
it is. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There you go. Cambridge. All right. So that's the news. I really hope I can continue counting on all of you to continue participating in open hours, and possibly adding another fun time slot to your schedule. Not sure if it's going to be similar to this, an hour long, half an hour, not sure what we're even going to cover yet, but there will be some fun stuff ahead. This could be looked at as a fun experience, a soft fork, not a hard fork.
Plans are afoot.
2 questions. Are you physically going to stay in San Diego and virtual work? And then what are your cats doing? Staying or going with you? So
the cats, I've already gotten rid of them. They were meowing too much last night, threw them out, never came back. I'm just kidding. I still have the cats. The location will still be in San Diego. So I'll still be in San Diego. I'm still not positive on how the work situation is going to be. However, we'll most likely still be working from home a large portion of the work hours. But I'm very excited, to be honest. Working from home for almost 4 years now, as much as I like it, the freedoms are amazing. I'm very excited to have an office. So to have an office that I can go to, I think what I want to do is start getting more hands-on. Like I've completely so many emails and so much correspondence, like over these last years, it's just like nonstop. I haven't been able to get my hands dirty, and I'm really looking forward to getting my hands dirty. So I think what I want to do is I want to turn my office into this, hardware tech space. And then when I'm working from home, it'll be more things like podcast and streaming and correspondence and stuff like that. So we'll see how this all works out. Again, I'm hoping that we can all continue to correspond. I'm hoping that this isn't just the end of an era, but the beginning of a new one. Yeah.
Also, a point of clarification, the reason why the cats didn't get kicked out, they left on their own accord, because as we know, they've been siphoning Robert's Bitcoin, and now they're thousandaires, and you can get a lot of tuna for 1,000 Bitcoin. So that's what's happening there.
They can get a lot of tuna for 10% of a Bitcoin. Too much tuna. Yeah.
Have the cats retrained themselves on the new ARM technologies?
Let's see. I'm gonna see if there's a cat out here. This special episode. Let's see. They respond to this whistle. And here he comes. That's his hero call. Krona, say hi. Say hi, Krona. Here you go. Good boy. Good boy, Krona.
I'm a cat. I do what I want.
Basically, he doesn't get to come into this room either. So he just like sees all the things he wants to just
things to sit on,
stand on, and knock off the table. Ow, Krona.
You know, that's how we've proven that the world is not flat, right? Is that if it was at this point, the cats would have knocked everything off the edge. Yeah.
Well, you said, there's this, what is it? Infinite energy, how to create infinite energy. Let me see. Infinite energy with cat. And
you put a piece of buttered toast on top of a cat, and then you try and drop them, and they just spin infinitely. Yes.
Yes, because a cat always lands on their feet, and a buttered toast always lands butter down.
Yep.
So if you put the buttered toast on the cat's back, and you drop it, they'll just spin.
Yeah,
forever.
This is just physics. I don't understand why there's still debate about this.
No, right here. Here you go.
Excellent. Yes.
Oh, well, this was better. Here you go. Dang it. Yeah, so cats always land on their feet. Bread with butter always falls butter side down. Connect it to a generator, and there you go.
Generator, of course, also has to be a cat.
Yeah.
That's a bad generator joke for anyone who didn't get it. It's okay.
Cat generator.
Cat is Caterpillar. They make diesel generator. Yeah. See, when you have to explain it, you know it's a good one.
For some reason, this cat doesn't like being like kissed or have your face next to his. Kiss me. All right. I think that this is enough. Todd, you got to see the cats, or one of them. I don't know if you're still here even. Yeah, there you go. So,
will the cats perform better under ARM technology, or will they be the same cats?
Well, I heard that my cats are ARM fans, so they definitely will be performing better. But 96 boards is ARM, so they're kind of torn, torn between. Todd, do you have any animals?
It's interesting. I've been going to the shelter recently. I thought I was going to get a cat, but I actually, just because of the conditions of where I rent, may go with a house rabbit.
Oh, a house rabbit. You know what else I've heard are really awesome pets? If you're okay, because it is a bit of an emotional drain, great pets are rats. Even though rats are like very smart, but the thing is that they only live like 2 to 3 years. So you have to be prepared to fall in love with your animal and then have it kind of die very quickly. It sucks. But my wife wants a rat, but she's not ready to take on that like emotional burden that it comes with, having to only get to have them for like 2-3 years and get attached, right? I don't know how. What happened?
Just recycle the rat.
Just recycle. Just get another rat, name it the same thing, look for similarities. Just get a white rat, solid so that you can't tell the difference. You'll never know he was gone. No, you have to train them. And I mean, like, or train them. They actually learn and they have personalities. It's crazy. But
Your cat will help with the recycle.
The cat will help with the recycling. Yeah. All right. Well, folks, it was a pleasure. Stay tuned next week. I might try to do a live stream, as in use the Open Hours hour, my last Open Hours hour, officially my last Open Hours hour, to do some sort of interview or talk at ARM TechCon. So we'll see what's going on there. Maybe I'll find something interesting that I feel is cool to share. Maybe someone that's there that wants to talk about, the ARM technology that's going on, or some of the ARM stuff that's going on over there. Maybe we'll get lucky and find, maybe we'll get lucky and get someone, prestigious on the call. I don't know. Either way, it'll still be fun. And I will, of course, keep you all updated on what's going on with me personally. But that's it. You guys good? Any other questions, comments before we close this out?
Congratulations, Robert. You made a quantum leap on your career now.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I do look forward to working with ARM. It should be it should be very challenging, but at the same time, every now and then I think it's important to challenge yourself. And I look forward to learning as much as possible and taking this challenge in stride. And then, of course, with such a great community like you guys, I'm not scared at all. I'm very, very enthusiastic and very optimistic about this. So very much appreciate it.
Congratulations, and may the force be with you, Robert.
Thank you. No, that's Star Trek. That's good. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So I'm going to close out the live stream. Let's say goodbye to YouTube. We can go into after hours. Bye, YouTube. Oh, shoot. Click something here. Bye, YouTube. Thank you very much for joining us. This has been episode Open Hours 165. We look forward to seeing you next week live from ARM TechCon in San Jose, Silicon Valley, California. We wish you all me and Krona here, wish you a happy weekend. Bye. Stop the stream.